A gente acredita que você seja um grande fã do trabalho do pai do zumbi moderno. Mas conta pra gente como a estética e cinema de Romero te influenciaram. E o que a gente pode ver do cinema dele dentro deste documentário?
So I have a major love for George Romero, not only of his films, but as him as a man. Night of the Living Dead was the first horror film that I ever watched. Probably 5 or 6, I can't remember. But my mother was this big horror fan. My father, not so much. Watching horror films was kind of like this bonding moment with my mother. And she had this small cardboard box, but it was full of horror films. I would watch like some stuff, but one day I pulled out one case and it was this clamshell case and it was Night of the Living Dead. And it was a creepy cover. Sorry. Here it is. There's actually some of the people that worked on the film have their signatures on it now. That was actually a gift. I'm not sure if that's the original. My mother sold all her films, but that was actually found within about 45 minutes of where I used to live. So that was actually a gift to me from the owner of Creature Feature Weekend, which is where I did my panel and unveiled the first teaser for Resident Evil. I had seen Night of the Living Dead when I was 5 or 6, and it scared the hell out of me. I didn't watch almost anything with zombies after that. I was watching other stuff like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, but George Romero, no, I didn't touch that. Around the time of Resident Evil, where I actually got back into George Romero because of the rumors that he was gonna do Resident Evil the movie. So I was like, okay, I can play a zombie game, maybe I'll be able to handle Night of the Living Dead again. So I watched it, loved it, and then 1998, that was the 20th anniversary of Dawn of the Dead, so it was on TV. So I got to watch Dawn of the Dead not long after, and absolutely loved the film. So then I had to track down Day of the Dead, and then I started watching some of his other films. But I love George Romero's raw, visceral feel, disregard for censorship. You know, he very much wants to make the kind of films that he wants to make. Say something. He wants them to have a message. But even more so, I always heard stories about how generous and kind and just genuine and humble George Romero was around everyone. He never made you feel like a stranger. He never made you feel like a jerk or that you're stupid or inferior to him. He loved his fans, he loved his cast and crew, and he loved filmmaking. And that really spoke volumes to me. And that's some of the stories that I've heard the most over the last few years as I've been doing this project, just how great of a person George Romero was. You know, George was my inspiration for wanting to be a filmmaker. So what better thing could I do than make a documentary about one of his most cherished projects that he never got to make.
A pesquisa de um documentário é uma parte muito importante, tanto que esta é um dos principais pilares do gênero. Como é que foi o processo de reunir e organizar todo esse material? E o processo da criação da narrativa foi muito difícil?
So, no, it took a lot of time to get the research, but it wasn't difficult. It was one of those, once I got the initial idea of, hey, maybe we can do everything where it feels like you're inside the mansion, everything started to lock into place, because it also fixed a lot of production issues, because we have different archive footage from various eras that are in different aspect ratios and resolutions. We started getting other people that had information for us and documents and concept art. The hardest part was just the length of time it took, especially because this project started and was developing during the pandemic. That was the worst part, was waiting for the pandemic to kind of get over with so that we could finally move forward.
No teaser trailer da produção, podemos ver que vocês recriaram vários momentos icônicos do jogo original de 1996, como a floresta de Arklay, a chegada dos Stars à mansão e um pouquinho mais. Como foi recriar cenas tão icônicas?
Well, actually, we didn't necessarily recreate anything from the games or the films, and that was for a legal reason, because we didn't want to make this feel like a feature film where we're actually telling a story and you're hearing dialogue or you're seeing an exact scene from the game. I wanted to do that, and the team kind of agreed and loved the idea of trying to just bring in this feel from the video game. Did some things like, I can say this, there's a shot in the teaser trailer that has a person reading a book, and you can see them like turning the page and stuff. That is actually how we're going to show you some of the old text interviews. So stuff where maybe someone isn't alive now. We wanted it to feel like right out of the video game, where you're finding journals and you'll have text appear that actually highlights the information that we want to show.
Já sabemos que os rumos tomados pela franquia Resident Evil no cinema foram totalmente diferentes da visão original de Romero. Qual é a sua relação, na verdade, com os filmes protagonizados por Mila Jovovich ou pelo Rob Amell?
I really like the first film. I don't love it, but I like it. I feel it's competently shot. I can't say that I enjoy the series. I don't really enjoy the movies too much, and I can respect Constantine Film and Paul W.S. Anderson for taking an idea and turning it into, I think at last count they had $1.3 billion at the box office.
Agora sobre a Capcom e a Constantine Filmes, eles trabalharam junto com vocês para a criação deste documentário ou houve algum impedimento por parte deles?
Actually, it was very imperative that I approach Capcom about my idea, because I didn't want this to just be a fan film, a fan film. I wanted to make sure that everyone in the world would be able to see this thing. So, and being a filmmaker, that's important, is you need to have something that, from a business standpoint needs to be marketable. So that meant going to the three entities. Capcom, I proposed the project to, and they loved it. I worked with Capcom USA, and they, were the intermediaries between Capcom Japan and myself, and I got approval. I got a license through Capcom to do this, and they really loved the idea behind it. Constantine Film, we tried to get a hold of them for about 6 months, and my original idea was I wanted to tell George's story behind this, and then also give Constantine Film the chance to kind of tell things from their side, because I didn't want it to just be, I didn't want this to turn into a bashing Constantine Film kind of thing, especially because Eichinger, the producer for I think the first 5 films, he passed away in 2011, and I don't like the idea of beating up dead people. Eichinger isn't around anymore, George isn't around anymore, all these people have passed away. And it's not very respectful to just sit there and trash someone when they can't defend themselves. So I wanted to really approach this with respect. Constantine Film didn't get back to us. We had a lot of people trying to get a hold of them, and it was late last year that we finally got a response, and they absolutely did not want to be involved in this. So Suze Romero and the George Romero Foundation, they are supporting us. We have their blessings, and that was the other important organization that we just, I would not be doing this if Suze had told me no.
Em nossas conversas, você falou sobre trabalhar com Resident of Evil. Eles estão envolvidos nesse projeto de alguma maneira? E como é trabalhar com um dos maiores portais de Resident Evil do mundo?
Yeah, so Residents of Evil has fully supported the documentary. I've been in contact with them. They obviously helped release the teaser trailer, and we reached the deal where moving forward, they're going to be the platform where you get to see further updates about the project. At the heart, it's made by fans for fans, so it was only natural to reach out to some of these like large Resident Evil communities and say, do you want to be a part of this? Because this is what the fans have been wanting. Maybe not necessarily George's vision, and I know it's only a documentary, but how many years have fans said, why don't you let a fan do the material? So all we're doing is giving you a little taste of some of the aspects of the game that we could actually do within the documentary. I just want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity to answer some questions. I hope you enjoy this interview, and I just want to say thank all of you for making your voices known and for supporting us. The teaser trailer is done great. I hope that you enjoy the documentary when it releases, but I would hope that it's out by January 2024. This project has always been about the Resident Evil fans, the George Romero fans, and most importantly, this was always about George Romero. And if you are enjoying what we're doing as a documentary, I ask that you go to the George A. Romero Foundation website and donate to them. So again, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak to you today, and I hope you enjoy the project when it releases.
Eras isso, pessoal. Gostaria de agradecer mais uma vez ao Brandon por ter dado um pouco do seu tempo para responder as questões do review e atender algumas dúvidas aí da comunidade. Então, se vocês querem ver mais entrevistas como essa ou conteúdos diversificados da franquia Resident Evil, é só assinar aqui o canal ou acompanhar a gente lá no site. Até mais, pessoal!